Welcome to Tamela and Taylor's Treat Talk Tuesday podcast, where we share about treats, business, and life. Hello, I am Tamela, owner of Torlitas for that sweet and crunchy taste. Torlitas is a dessert company located right here in the state of Ohio, where we specialize in salty sweet treats. If you want to know more about me and my business, go to at Torlitas. That's T as in Tuesday, ORLITAS. On to Taylor.
Hi, I'm Taylor, owner of Sweet Spirit Treats located in Michigan, where we customize cakes for your special events. I can be found on Instagram and Facebook at Sweet Spirit Treats.
Great. So we have a guest. We have two guests with us today. This is a owner of Jay's Sweet Treats, Joanna and Takia, and they will share with us about what their business is all about, some challenges and some great victories and all those wonderful treats. I have had the cinnamon roll. I have had the cinnamon roll and I've had to not come back as often. Okay. All right. So that just shows you that that their offerings and their sweet treats and baked goods are just out of this world. And I'm so glad that she has joined us today and wanted to be a part of our podcast. So I'm going to give it over to Joanna and Takia just to share a little bit about who you are and what do you do.
All right, well, I'm Joanna Williams, the owner of Jay's Sweet Treats and Wedding Cakes. I am a self-taught baker, self-taught cake decorator, mother of four. This is my daughter, Takia. She has come alongside to help me along this journey. And so together we have created quite the following and quite the force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. I can tell. You've been featured on so many different platforms nationally, haven't you?
We have. So we have been with Buddy Velasco from the Cake Boss doing Bake It Like Buddy. We've done the Drew Barrymore Show. We've done Wedding Day Magazine, Columbus Monthly, ABC6, Channel 10, Good Day Columbus. We've had a lot of exposure, and we're very grateful for that.
Excellent. When did you start your business?
Sure. We started our business in 2016. It was just a hobby. We did a pop-up shop, and we call it the pop-up shop that never ended because there was such demand. We just continued to bake out of our home until we outgrew it, and then we transitioned into a brick and mortar.
Very nice. And that's on located where in Columbus?
Sure, it's 1540 Parsons Avenue, Columbus 43207. Our number is 614-906-8888. We're on IG, Facebook, and Twitter as #1JS Sweet Treats.
Okay, excellent. Taylor, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. I have lots of questions.
Okay.
So my first question is just how did you transition from doing working out of your home to like an actual brick and mortar? Like what?
I have a business background. My degrees are in business. So I did 25 years in corporate America at AT&T running the Midwest. So business wasn't foreign to me. Once we outgrew the home, it was time for us to transition into a brick and mortar. So we just had to crunch the numbers to make sure that it worked. We had to have faith and believe that what God ordained, He will maintain. And we took that leap of faith. So basically, we outgrew our home. We have excess refrigeration in our garage, and it just became too much. We've taken over all of our space. So in order to have a normal life, or something,
a variance of that.
It was pretty much over us. He said, it's time for you to go. So we started brick and mortar, and we found a place that was underdeveloped, dirt floors, no plumbing, but I'm a visionary. So we had a plan in place, and we brought it to life.
Okay. Awesome. So how did you maintain parenting and running a brick and mortar? Were your children young or your daughter's laughing?
Well, because this isn't my only business. So I have started a couple businesses that are still thriving, but my children, thank God, are older.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you can probably speak to the balance. My husband is awesome and he's a great parent. And he's become quite the cook because of my schedule. So I leaned and depend a lot on him, but also this is my oldest. So I leaned on the older siblings to kind of make sure everything was in place.
Okay.
I mean, as far as for me, I was in college when we originally started the fitness business, so it wasn't like I was missing too much,
Right.
or
Yeah.
Away.
I was
So to
away.
her, it was normal.
Right.
To my youngest, it was a little different. We got a new neighbor that moved into our neighborhood, and he came over one day to introduce himself. He said he's seen me a few times. He was, I said, well, I actually live here.
Right.
But he said, oh, it's a guy and a little girl. They live here. Time for me to cut back a little bit.
Right. That's good. It's always I feel like it's always like tough like finding a balance between like home life and business because they kind of collide, especially or they definitely collide, especially like when you're working for yourself. So so you said that you were like a visionary. So when you went to like go look for your building, like what type of things were you thinking? Were you thinking like you wanted a large building or a small building or how did
So
you figure?
the goal was never to have a huge space because I didn't want, obviously you pay per square foot. So I didn't want a
Right.
lot of empty real estate where I'm paying in a space that wasn't productive. So I
Mhm.
had to make sure that whatever we did, that each one of those square feet was going to produce some sort of residual income for us. So we had to take that into consideration. I wanted a modern building, somewhat industrial. So I actually was looking for something with some exposed brick and character, and we were blessed to find that. So just making sure, I mean, you don't want to start too large because
Right.
everyone thinks, oh, I need this huge space and I need all of this. Well, in reality, what you need to do is generate some income to sustain it. And once you're able to sustain it, if you need to start a second location or move to a larger one, then do so at that time.
Okay. And do you do online sales as well, or do you do out of your bakery, sales out of your bakery?
So
Like
COVID kind of forced us to pivot into online as well. So
Mhm.
we were in the e-commerce market, but not as heavily as we are right now. So we
Okay.
have changed our website. I don't know if you had an opportunity to take a look, but we updated the website and added more offerings. So we did have a small selection, but we're adding more to it because we have a fan bases outside of the Columbus area and they wanted to be able to obtain our product as well.
How do you feel like COVID has affected your business?
Well, we opened the brick and mortar on March 6th of 2020. So that was approximately what, 10 days pre-COVID.
Yep.
So we don't
Hmm.
know anything but COVID. So our entire
Okay.
business this past coming up on a year has been pivoting and changing positions. So you have to be extremely flexible. When you see something that's not working, you
Hmm.
need to stop it and recreate some things, change some of the way that you market. We don't pay for any marketing, so it's mainly word of mouth. So just making sure you have a strong social media presence
Right.
and see what people respond to. When you put something out there and you get a lot of response, it's time to exploit that and keep it pushing. If you put something out there and you get minimal response as well as minimal traffic into the bakery because of it, then you eliminate it.
Okay. Awesome. So you said you're a self-taught baker. So was that like lots of YouTube or lots of like trial and error, or how did you how did you like just figure out how to do like your first cake?
So I'm not a YouTube person. I've been baking with my mother. Growing up, we had a restaurant for a while.
Okay.
So I would work with her as a little girl just on recipes and things like that that we could offer. It wasn't anything to this level, obviously, and I didn't do it all the time. However, I guess I've been blessed. I have favor in that department. So there wasn't a whole lot of trial and error because again, the dollars have to make sense. I don't believe in wasting products, so I didn't do a whole lot of let me create and see what I can do.
Hmm.
I just believe that whatever came my way, I would be able to do it with excellence. So it was a lot of, hey, can you make this princess cake? And me saying, yeah, sure, quoting a price and getting off the phone and telling my husband, who has an engineering background, how do I make this stand up?
Yeah.
Help me.
Right.
Let's do this
Right.
together.
I got the concept. I can make it. I just needed to stay upright, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
So it was just a lot of that. I guess that's all I have to say about it.
Okay. So how do you, I know you said you trusted God for things to like go your way and you like the favor. Like how do you feel that plays like your faith plays a role in your business? What role does it play?
My faith is 100. My business is based 100% off of my faith because um, no one would do the crazy things that I do without faith.
Right.
So I just believe that if I have self-confidence and I have the ability, that he's
Mhm.
going to take care of the rest. He's equipped me. It's mine to fail.
That's so amazing because a lot of people that I see like put so much confidence in themselves and it just like stops there. And so like if they have like things that happen with them, like their whole business falls apart. But it's really awesome to see that you put your faith, in God. So that way you know that it will be sustainable no matter what happens. That's always a beautiful thing. So
Yeah, and I always say nothing beats a failure but a try. So if you don't try, you won't know. And I don't look at anything that I've done as a failure.
Mhm.
So if tomorrow we needed to close our doors for whatever reason, I wouldn't feel like I have failed at J Sweet Treats. I would feel like that I gave it my all and that I created a space that had not been occupied by other Black bakers before. And so if anything, I have cracked that ceiling for others to come behind me.
nice. Are there um are there lots of other Black bakers in your area that have?
Yeah, there's a ton of bakers in the area. I think we are the only Black owned brick and mortar. So we're 100% Black owned and female owned. But there are tons of bakers around. You see names thrown around all the time. I don't know all of them. And a
Mhm.
lot of that is not because I don't care. It's just that we're super busy. So I don't have time to kind of
Right.
dive into what anybody else is doing.
Okay. So do you feel that you've had any specific struggles because of like being having a woman owned business?
Actually, no, I haven't seen any struggles for that. Well, I take so some of the struggles are that there are some men who feel like because we're woman owned that if they talk a little savvy with a little swag that will give them a little extra or approach us in an inappropriate way, but we have
Right.
to squash that.
Right.
But I'm very direct. I'm very I won't say demanding. I'll say commanding.
Yeah.
To the
And so
point.
when I don't have room at the table, I create a table to sit at.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Before you go on, Taylor, I do have a question when it comes to funding sources for your business. I know a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in that area. Oh, I don't have enough money. They think they have to have it all in place in order to move forward. And I always say, no, that's not the case. The idea is the easiest part of this thing. You have to get your license, you have to get special license if you're doing, in a brick and mortar space. And all these things go into creating a business. However, have you had experienced any challenges when it came to funding your business? And if so, what were they and how did you overcome them?
I haven't experienced a lot of challenges with funding. Like I said, my background was business, so we were able to have a bit of a nest egg, and I did get some small outside funding late in the game. Um, like the PPP and SBA loans. We didn't qualify for any of those things, so we opened up in March of 2020, which meant
Mhm.
we didn't have any records as far as the staff is concerned for 2019, because those that helped me, I just gave them a few dollars and they went on their way. So
Mhm.
that has been a struggle because there have been times when the business ebbs and flows and it'd be nice to have that capital injection, but we didn't qualify for any of that. So that was just additional fuel to, you need to make this happen because you're your only option.
Mhm.
Right.
Well,
So
definitely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would implore anyone to make sure that their credit is where it needs to be. I mean, even when you start out, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to be a personal guarantor for any sort of credit lines that you get. As African Americans, I think sometimes our credit takes a back seat. It's a difficult conversation to have, but it's necessary. And we need to start young so that when our daughters and our sons want to create businesses, they don't have a lot of the same struggles because they're able to, even if it's a personal loan, get some monies to get their businesses started.
What was the biggest thing that you purchased when you started your business and you were like, oh my goodness, this is a lot of money, but I have to do it in order to move forward?
Well, like I said, we moved into a building that had dirt floors and no plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest expense was probably the construction piece of it. Thankfully, my brother is in construction, so that saved us some costs. It definitely wasn't free.
Mm-hmm.
Plumbing itself, people don't think about this, but plumbing was close to 10 grand.
Yes.
So there are very large expenses with opening a brick and mortar. So if you go into a space that's already been occupied, already has an oven, has a vent and all of that stuff, it's a little less expensive. But if you're starting from scratch, refrigerators, double convection ovens, sinks, who would have known we had to have 4 sinks in the kitchen because you have a prep sink, you have, your 3 compartment sink. We do shakes and smoothies, so we had to have a separate area for that. So it's a lot. And it's very expensive. And you probably won't see a profit early on, but I made sure that I put myself on the payroll so that I wasn't working for free.
Yes. And if you as a sidebar, I'm with the Greater Linden Business Network, and I was just in a meeting the other day about the round 2 of the PPP loans. So, if you're interested, let me know. I have a couple people I can refer you to. The 2020 PPP loans is still available until the 31st of this year, and then they're going to do round 2. So you might still be able to gain access, and they have other funding resources if you're in need of any funding. I'll just put it that way because I'm not sure if you are or not, but I'm just putting it out there to people in our audience that if they're interested, to contact me. All right.
And I do have our bookkeeper filling out the information for the PPP. So I will put her in contact with you. Her name is Debbie. So if she has any questions, she can certainly utilize you as a resource.
Absolutely. And I'll just go ahead and throw out our email address, which is treattalktuesday@gmail.com. That is treattalktuesday@gmail.com. Taylor, you have any other questions?
I do have another question. So how was it with getting your licensing for your business? Like, how closely did you work? Did you work with the health inspector, or how did the process go with getting your license?
So yeah, we work closely with the health inspectors. Although you hate to see them coming, they're a great resource. So what I did is, prior to us even filling out an application, I asked them to come in to take a look, to tell me what things I would need, what things they would be looking for, so that there would be no delays in my opening. So they came in and did a full walkthrough. Ironically enough, they did a full walkthrough. They passed us, and they've been back a few times because they do their random checks. And they showed up last time and said, "Oh, you got to cut this pipe a little bit. It's too long." And I'm like, "You told me where to put this pipe? You approved this pipe?"
Right.
So, different people have different requirements. I've learned when it comes to the health department, the application is tedious. They want a lot of information, down to your menu, like your whole menu. They want that ahead of time. They want to know what your prices are like, what your hours are, so that they can stop by at any given time. The bottom line is, they're here to make sure that the public is safe and that we're doing what we need to do. So I appreciate the fact that they were willing to work with us.
It's awesome. Very awesome. I'm excited for all the things that you have going on. I love your Instagram. I don't know who does it, who takes the pictures and things like that. So is it what would you say is one task that you definitely felt like you had to like outsource, um that you do to run your business successfully?
The money piece. I had to outsource our bookkeeping.
Hmm.
Um, I have a great bookkeeper. She's almost too good to the point that she changed my Amazon password because I was ordering too much.
We love Amazon, don't we?
She and I have been best friends for years and years and years. And although some people can't work with friends, we have no problem separating the business and the personal. But she really stays on top of what we're doing, the new things that are coming out, things that we may qualify for, making sure we're in compliance. She does all of our reporting of our taxes, and getting that paid to the state each month. So she
Hmm.
has been a phenomenal resource. Second
Okay.
piece is I recently had a friend come on to help with some virtual admin duties as far as making sure some emails get answered. You get so busy with all of the orders and doing everything. By the time you look up, it's 8 p.m. and you haven't checked your email for the day. So although we're not great at it yet, we're getting better so we don't miss out customers and we also don't turn off our customer base.
Nice. I think one of the things that I'm personally having struggles with right now is like balancing everything. And so
Mhm.
it's really good to know that to see someone that has already done it and already walked through like what I had to walk through, and you're a mom and a wife, and it's just a good confirmation for me. So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
and you're not going to always do it all right. There are times when I fail as a mom, I'm sure, like forgetting to take my 21-year-old to a doctor's appointment after an accident, or not showing up in time for a date night dinner. So there are things you're going to fail at. You just have to ask your family for grace. They know that you're building a business and they know the why behind it.
Hmm.
Um, you just can't continue to fail over and over again. You have to
Right.
get it right eventually.
Learn from our mistakes.
Absolutely.
Well, I commend both of you, for family and being a business owner, because it all comes with its own challenges. I wanted to ask you, Joanna, about um, how do you scale your business, and if you also are servicing other companies with your products. And I really want to get into some of your treats and cakes and all the things, the goodies that you have in your case. But can you go over that real quick about scaling your business, and also
Absolutely.
if you're servicing other businesses with your products?
Absolutely. So scaling your business takes capital. So anybody who tells you you can scale this business and you don't have any sort of capital injection to put into it is misleading. So we are working on some things, and we've done a lot of work with corporations, which has helped scale the business. For instance, we just did a big drop off this morning. Oh, I don't know, 10 dozen Black History cookies to Amazon. We've contracted with Target, so we do their Black History Month celebrations. We have done lots for corporations. Procter and Gamble has had us come to Cincinnati, and we did specialized cakes for them, shaped as Tide bottles and washing machines for
Wow.
their kickoff. And I think we went to Pittsburgh to Thomas Scientific. So once you start to get the reputation of being the go-to person, a lot of doors open for you.
Oh, excellent. I love that. I love that. As a treat maker, I started my business. Well, it started out of an actual dream in year 2000. And my mother always says, who knew God had a sweet tooth? Because I said, God, I'm just a vessel. You do whatever you want with it. I'm just a vessel. And I had some great opportunities, and I had some great victories, but also some challenges along the way. I'm definitely not where I want to be at this stage in the game of my business. However, I'm grateful for the opportunities that I did have, getting beyond myself in that process. And then looking back on, some things I could have done differently. and some relationships, business relationships, I wish that I had kind of cultivated more, because I always say it's not just a family that's going to support you. You have to look outside of that. If you're looking for your family and friends to support you in everything that you do, then you need to close your books and just do something else right now, because it's important to have a customer base. It's important to target your customers. You know, everybody loves your product and your family and, you know, and friends. However, they're not actually, you're always going to give them, you know, the food and stuff like that. They're not actually paying to support your business. Not
Now, see,
always.
that's a misnomer because we don't give away anything.
Okay. All right. All right.
My
Well,
husband
okay.
wanted to order a cake for some of his friends. He's a Mason, and they had an event at the lodge, and we sent them an invoice.
Yes.
So the
Okay.
first step in business is you don't give away anything.
Okay. All right. Note taken. Note taken. Good. Good.
How do you do your pricing? Do you do like ingredients and profit and like overhead, or how do you figure out the best prices for you?
So with wedding cakes, we generally start at $5 a slice,
Hmm.
and that's just for the bare minimum. And it everything you determine how much it costs for you to make it and the amount of time, and then the volume that you're going to do. So the mistake a lot of people make, and we work very quickly, but they say, oh, it's going to take me 2 hours to do this cake and I want $65 an hour. And then my ingredients are another 15. And then, you know, the decorations are another 30. So you have a 6-inch cake and you're charging $200 for it because you think it makes sense. It doesn't. How many 6-inch cakes are you going to do this month? Because once you buy the flour, the sugar, and the eggs and everything that is encompassed with making that cake, you can definitely make more than one cake out of it. So if you anticipate you're going to do 30 cakes and you spread that amount out over the 30 cakes. So we try to make sure that our prices are reasonable, yet we have, you know, launched this as a boutique bakery, which means that, you know, it has the word boutique in there. You know, it's going to be a little more expensive than others. But what you need to do is make sure that the quality of the product matches your price point.
Okay.
So you can't come out asking for $200 for a 6-inch cake when you have a Walmart product.
Right. That's definitely understandable. Have you have you ever how have you ever had like a client tell you that your prices were too high?
Oh yeah, multiple times a week. And the bottom line is that's not my customer base. So if I lose 5 customers because the cake is $200, but I gain 3 because they understand the quality of the work and the cost, those 3 are going to be long-term customers. Those ones who think it are too high, they're going to squeeze and moan and try to get the money to do it this time, but they probably won't use you in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that all money is not good money.
That's
And if
right.
it's going to cause you a lot of headache and tears, let it go. This is my price. I'm unapologetic for it. And you can pay it and get what we have to offer, or I can refer you to somebody who has a less price point.
I love that. I love your confidence in these things because, like, just starting out, I'm like, oh, maybe I like feel a little bad for someone, and then I'm like, I like see them and they have like the party that they took the cake to, and I'm like, no, I should have charged you more.
And
You
like
spent
actual giraffes and
$1,000.
elephants walking around, and you gave them a $30 cake.
Right.
I was like, you made, I need to get out of my feelings about this because like I'm looking at like everything else they put money into and I'm like, it's just about what you wanted to do. So
Absolutely.
People
yeah.
buy what they want. I don't care what it costs or whatever. If they have it and they want it, they will buy it. So I'm
Yeah.
always, you know, thinking of that as well.
And my daughter always uses the analogy like you don't go to Ruth Chris and say, I know this is a $50 steak, but I really like to pay 30 for it. Can we work on this? No, you go and you know what it's going to cost, and you sit down, you eat, and you pay your bill when you leave.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Do you have any organizations that you support is for nonprofit or anything like that right now?
Actually, I do. So I am a co-owner of Culture Market, which is the
Oh
First
yeah.
Black-owned grocery store in 25 years here in Columbus.
Yeah,
So we have
Chandra.
a culture market.
Yeah.
She's one of my business partners. So we
Oh,
have the
cool.
Culture Market Foundation, which is a nonprofit. So we definitely support that. Children's Hospital is just a mile and a half from us. So we constantly support them. We also support Black Lives Matter and the American Cancer Society, um, Expounding Visions, which is a nonprofit for at-risk youth. So there are several that we try to make sure that we give back to.
Well, that is an extensive list, and I'm sure that they are grateful for whatever that you can do for them. And
Yeah, and
it's always
everybody doesn't
important to
do
give back.
a lot, but it's just the fact that we try to when we can. As a matter of fact, our grand opening, we knew it was going to be a big event, and so we donated 10% of our profits for that opening weekend to two different charities.
Oh, great. Great. That is awesome. So, getting to the treat making portion, what are your top three sellers in your bakery?
Cheesecake is one. Cheesecake is a phenomenal seller. Well, I would say outside of custom cakes because we started with a custom cake base that is just growing. So as far as coming in the bakery, cinnamon rolls, cheesecake, and cupcakes, and then I had to throw brownies in there. So I would say those are the four top best sellers. There are other things that we sell out of every time. Example, banana pudding, we sell out of that every
Mhm.
week. We make it multiple times a week. But those are the things that once we run out, we continue to make more because we know that demand is high.
Absolutely. Well, I've heard nothing but good things about the bakery. And like I said, with the cinnamon rolls, I just, I have to stay away. I have to stay away. I have to stay away. I want to bring Takia into the conversation. Takia, when
Mhm.
it comes to, it looks like you're a millennial. I don't know. But when it comes to the taste buds or what millennials like or people your age enjoy when it comes to baked goods, is there anything that really sticks out? Do they want something different? Do they want hot? What are those flaming hots in it or or whatever?
I would say, in this day and age, everything is social media based.
Mhm.
So if it looks good, if it looks overwhelming, as I say, the more popular it is, especially on milkshakes.
Uh-huh.
So again, the taller it is, the more candy, the more cupcakes that are in it. Again, it creates that perfect selfie, and then the buzz goes
That
from there.
wow factor. They're looking for wow factor all the time.
Right. So
Absolutely.
what did you like, did you have everything on your menu planned out, or did someone say, like, come in and ask you if you had something, if you can make something new, and then you incorporated it? Like, how did you decide what to make?
Well, starting off, when I presented my menu to the health department, I basically presented everything that I would could possibly think I'd want to do for the next 5 years. So there were things that are still not on our menu that we are permitted to sell. We just haven't gotten to them yet. So I just threw everything at the wall and then we started small and kept building on it to see what would stick. Um, so yeah, we constantly change. Someone will come in and say, I love your oatmeal raisin cookies, but can you put cranberries in it? Well, yeah. I mean, if it's something you're going to buy, then we will contact that person and say, we have your oatmeal raisin cookies with cranberry in it, or they can do a special order. So I would say 90% of our work, 95% of our work is custom.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you have to be prepared when you come to me that I'm not an artist. Like I can draw it on cake, not on paper. So I'm not gonna give you some fancy sketch and tell you this
Right.
is what you're gonna anticipate. You're gonna have to look at the work, our book of work, and determine whether or not you trust me enough to create something for you.
Okay. So like, so that's mostly for like custom cakes or like wedding cakes, like people ask you for like designs and things like that.
Yes.
Kind of just like flip through and say, do you like this or do you like that, and
We
incorporate.
asked them to send us an inspirational photo.
Okay.
So with brides, we asked for three. first we have a questionnaire so we know whether it's modern, rustic, romantic, what the theme is. Send us 3 cakes that you absolutely love, and then we can narrow it down. We can either make something similar because we won't copy exacts, or we can kind of combine elements for each of the cakes and make you something custom on your day, so you're surprised when you come in.
Okay. Has anyone ever like been upset with you because you wouldn't make like an exact replica of a cake?
Girl, yes. Yeah.
He said all the time.
But
I'm
the
like,
funniest ones that come in and they have a picture that we did and they want us to make an exact. I have a bride that I promised I would never duplicate her cake because it was very special to her, and they'll want that. Well, can you make this cake? Well, it's mine. I can make it, but I won't. Like I'll
right.
put a different spin on it, that sort of thing. And then there are other things that are staples. So we'll make them all the time. The buttercream with the drip and maybe some Ferrero Rochers and some macaroons on it. There's only so many ways you can do that. So those
Right.
sorts of things we will continue to make for whoever.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
So do you have any promotions coming up for Valentine's Day that you want to share with our audience?
Sure, we have a whole Valentine's Day line that we've launched, from cookies to um, mugs and tumblers and diamond pins. We just recently launched some candles and scents that we utilize at the bakery. So we have a sugar cookie, a lemon pound cake, and a red hot. So we have a plethora of things that people can choose from Valentine's Day, and we put packages together on our website.
I love your Netflix box with the popcorn. I was like, this is like all of my ideas that are already created, but I was like, this is so cool. I wanted to,
we did a Netflix and chill for the millennials. And
right.
then we did a Me, You, and Hulu for those around my age who just want to, eat a little popcorn, light a candle, and enjoy a movie.
That's awesome. Very creative. I love your how you put everything together. Your packaging looks really nice. Hopefully one day I can come and taste some of your treats.
Listen, if you come, I'm putting you to work. Anybody that starts sending those a thing or two, they go in the kitchen.
Right. Let me tell you, you want to lose some people real quick. You tell them, they come when you're making some products, they're like, all right, I'm stepping back. You're like, no, you can't. You got to do this. Where can people find you on social media? Again, your website, your ad handles, and all that.
Sure. So the website is jsweettreatsplural.net. So jsweettreats.net. Our Instagram is @JSweetTreats, as well as our Facebook and our Twitter. So we kept it simple for all of the platforms.
How do you prefer getting an order? Is it on your website, DMs, a phone call?
They can definitely call the bakery. They can go on our website and place an order, or they can email us. I will say this: if you send an email and it's been 48 hours and you haven't gotten a response, just pick up the phone and call the bakery. We're not ignoring you. We may not have gotten it yet, but calling the bakery is the quickest way to make sure that we're available.
They can call you, they can DM you, or send you an email.
What? DM me, just because we get so many messages, your DM could be lost.
Okay.
If you want to send that to start the initial conversation, hey, what do you think this is going to cost? But any sort of, if it's not paid, it doesn't go on our schedule. So if you DM me and I talk to you and I provide a cost, I always let people know you're not on our schedule until you actually make your payment. So just because we had a conversation in our DMs doesn't mean that we have an order for you. And we do require people to pay up front. I know that's a little odd for some, but we have people that want to get cakes done and we can't get to them because we have pre-orders. So if your order isn't paid, then you've taken a slot from somebody else that could have gotten their order done. So we do require prepayment for everything.
All right. Now, what's your turnaround time normally?
It depends. Because I keep saying, don't take anything else for this week. Don't take anything else for this week. The phone will ring and I'll be like, I can do that with my eyes closed. Take it. So
yeah, I hear you.
We like to have a 2-week turnaround time, but we come across emergencies every day. For some reason, people forget that their children were born on a special day, or they forget that it's Christmas. So we try to fit those emergencies in.
Wow, I have been schooled. I really have been schooled. Just you sharing with your business about your business and about how things came together and what's for the future. And I am excited that you joined us today. I don't want to take too much more of your time. Is there anything else you want to share with us?
Well, our products are, we're exclusive, the exclusive dessert provider for Camelot Cellars, which is also a Black-owned restaurant and winery here in Columbus. So if
Okay.
you ever want a sweet treat and we're closed, you can head on over to Camelot. And we also do carry products in Culture Market. So if you need to get a little taste of something and you're not in close proximity to us, you can utilize either of those spaces to pick up an item.
Are you shipping right now?
Yes, we're shipping. We're shipping worldwide right now, which has a share of challenges. So we're sticking to the things that don't require a whole lot of maintenance. So we're not shipping custom cakes right now, but we are doing the cookies, the brownies, the pound cakes, anything that can travel well, we're
Mhm.
doing.
Excellent.
Nice.
Anything you
Yeah.
want to add, Taylor?
Nope. I'm super excited. I'm happy that you took the time to do this interview with us, and I have learned a lot as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And if you ever have any questions or anything like that, Taylor, just shoot me a message. I'll do my best to answer it. I mentor quite a few people, so I try not to commit to any sort of one-on-one standard time each week. But if you have one-off questions or you just need some direction or encouragement, either my daughter or myself can definitely help you out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well,
Hi.
uh, this concludes the latest podcast of Tamela and Taylor's Treat Talk Tuesday. Listen to us on audio at anchor.fm or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Or check out our new YouTube page at Tamela and Taylor's Treat Talk Tuesday for our visual podcast. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much, Joanna and Takia, for
You're
taking
welcome.
the time to chat with us on this podcast. I am definitely going to order one of those Netflix and chill box. Don't get in my business, okay? All right. But definitely, I will order one and definitely spread the word. So just to let you know, we promote or we post on Tuesdays. Now, the time of that is a little bit different of actually when we post the actual podcast, but we do get it out on Tuesdays. And